Hello, this is Allie with the Perception Trainers, author of The Perception Diet, and today we have episode 31 of Real Talk for Lightworkers, where we are going to discuss why you are not adding to the darkness of the world when you are being with your negative emotions. So again, in my Facebook group a few weeks ago, we were discussing being with anger and being with sadness and being with these negative emotions and the negative thoughts, and especially we were discussing the idea of being with the part of you that is judgmental and doesn't like other people and doesn't have compassion for other people and can't see them at their light right now and struggles with feeling like to acknowledge and to really go into and be with that part of yourself and allow that part of yourself to exist and to express simply makes you just another one of those hateful people that is what you see as being the problem in the world. And today I want to talk about why trying to get rid of that part of yourself is, again, just another cul-de-sac that you're going to get into, and it's technically a superstition that when you understand something that maybe is not being communicated clearly with these teachings of shadow work and going into these aspects of yourself that are hurting, once that is made clear, hopefully you will have peace about being with that judgmental part of yourself, or being with that angry part of yourself, or being with that sad part of yourself, or being with that part of yourself that feels very victimized by life and goes into your victim story very quickly. And not feeling like you just need to get rid of that person or get rid of that part of yourself, or that you're indulging it, or again, that you're adding to the darkness of the world by acknowledging these parts of yourself and being with these parts of yourself. So again, I totally understand wanting to be love and light and wanting to be someone who sees themselves as adding to the positivity in the world, and who can look at someone who's being any particular way and love them, and who can see people behaving in a myriad of ways and not judge them and love them, right? And I totally understand wanting to be that person, and that you see that it is because people can't do that, or you believe that it is because people cannot do that, that we live in such a hostile place, that we live in such a hostile world, and you want to be the change. And that totally makes sense, and you are completely justified in that belief system. Now, where I believe this belief system is not serving you and is not actually giving you the results that you're thinking you're going to get from it, and may actually be holding you back from becoming that person, right? That whole paradox thing that always happens in this work, is a couple of things. So the first thing is that you may still hold a belief or a superstition that there are emotions, there are thoughts, there are feelings, there are things, any circumstances in this life that have no purpose, that come from nowhere, that come out of nowhere, that are simply in the way of you having this dream life, of you being this dream person, and they are there as obstacles, and it is your job to overcome them or transcend them or get rid of them in some way. And we can look out at the world and see that pretty much everybody has this belief that there are things that happen for no reason, that there are obstacles on our path that are just there to be a nuisance, that it's a very common belief system in the world, that there are things that happen that shouldn't happen, that things that exist that shouldn't exist. And we are simply, as spiritual people, quote unquote, right, taking this concept of things arise for no reason. So that dude cut me off, and that was just him being a jerk, and that shouldn't have happened, or natural disaster, or I lost money in the stock market, or what I wanted to happen didn't happen, and that was just stupid, right? That was just the world showing me how I'm not ever going to have what I want, or this is what I have to overcome to get what I want. And some of us have been able to say, okay, well, no, maybe there's a reason for the person that cut me off. Maybe I can find some benefit in the circumstances that are happening. But when it comes to my own emotions, when it comes to my own thoughts, when it comes to my own feelings, there's my impediment. There's my impediment to being the enlightened person that I want to be. These are the obstacles that have no reason for being there, or they're just there to be in the way, and they're things that I have to get over so that I can be this person that I want to be. And that right there is where we're always going to get stuck if we stay in that method of thinking, right? Because so long as we believe in the superstition that what is occurring shouldn't be occurring, that what reality is presenting to us is wrong, we will never get to the place that we are trying to get to. So when you say that you want to be love and light in the world, when you say that you want to be able to love everyone and to love everything at all times, the only way you're going to be that person, right? You must think of your goal. What does this really mean? It means that there is a genuine sense of knowing within you that everything that is arising has a purpose. You no longer have a reason to judge or reject what is occurring. That is who you want to be. You want to be love and light in the world. What that really means, if you follow it all the way through, is not that you're just some love person now. It's that there's something inside of you that sees the purpose and the value and the benefit of everything. That's what a love-based perspective is. Nothing has gone wrong. Everything is here for a reason. I have no reason to judge it. Okay? So if we understand that, if that's the goal, that's where we're headed, that's the consciousness. If you're then looking in on yourself and saying, this judgment I have is wrong. I should not be this judgmental person. I should not have this negative emotion. I should not feel this way. I'm simply adding to the darkness of the world and I have to get rid of this. You are in that moment choosing not to be the person you want to be, right? You are saying, it's not okay for me to judge anyone else. It's not okay for me to add darkness to the world by being angry with them, by being judgmental of them, by being upset with them, by being upset with the circumstance. It's not okay for me to be that, but it's totally fine for me to judge myself, to reject myself, to reject my own feelings, my own thoughts, my own emotions, my own place of perception where I am right now. And do you see how this is exactly the same thing? You are essentially being the person you don't want to be by trying not to be the person you don't want to be. By beating yourself up for not yet being the person that you want to be. So that's why we need to understand that this is superstition. It is not that you have any thought, feeling, or emotion that is there for no reason. Okay? That is not what's causing you pain. That's not what's causing you to not be the love and light in the world that you want to be. It is your belief system that there's no purpose for that. It's your belief system that that thought, feeling, emotion is wrong. It is your judgment that it should not be occurring that is keeping you from being that person. So let's again take another deeper look at this, okay? Is the world truly such a horrible place where everyone's super mean to each other because everybody is very much in love with themselves and embracing their emotions and processing their thoughts and feelings and giving themselves permission to feel how they feel and think what they think and go through the emotional mastery system of figuring out why that is happening, right? We accept it first so that we can make room for it to tell us where it came from. And then when it tells us that, we learn that we have all these false belief systems about fear and about pain and about reality that are really the source of our suffering, and then it's causing us to try and manipulate and control the external environment, and we go in and then we figure out that that's not really the key, that it's just us, right? Is that what's going on? And because everyone is doing that, we're all indulging our anger, we're all indulging our sadness, we're all indulging our judgments, and that's what's causing so much pain in the world? Or could it be that what is actually causing all this darkness that you are seeing in the world is really the fact that everyone is denying themselves, that everyone is rejecting themselves, that everyone is walking around thinking they are a piece of shit. Everyone is walking around thinking they are undeserving. Everyone is walking around thinking they are wrong all the time. We know this. Everyone is their own worst critic. Everybody is their own worst critic. And truly, even the most narcissistic people we see out there who seem to feel that, or, that seem to express and exude that they are super confident and they're totally fine to just like fuck everyone and who cares. If you really get to know these people, those people are truly the most hurt. Those people tend to be truly the most repressed, oppressed, have been told their whole lives they're not allowed to think what they think, they're not allowed to feel what they feel, they're not allowed to be who they are. And over the years, they have become hardened, right? They have turned in on themselves to such a degree that they no longer even feel that they're turning in on themselves. They have projected their self-hate and their fuck me attitude, which is really what it is, onto the world now, right? It's just a complete projection of how they're treating themselves. So if we look at that and we really think about it and we really look at people and we say, okay, the people who act the most hateful tend to have the most hate towards themselves. The people who act the most judgmental tend to judge themselves the most harshly. The people who are so negative and fear-based and cause all the destruction in the world are the ones that are the most afraid for themselves. They genuinely feel no security within their being. They don't feel safe. They don't feel okay. They don't feel like it's safe to be who they are. They feel like they are constantly on the defense, physically, mentally, emotionally, for their place in this world. And that is what causes them to behave that way. So if that is the root cause of all, again, this pain and this suffering and this darkness that you see in the world, how is you turning in on yourself going to make you different from that person? It isn't. Okay, you're going to get caught in a loop where you're constantly feeling like you're judgmental of people, you don't like how they act, you don't like how they behave, and then you judge yourself for that, and then you beat yourself up, and then you go into some sort of self-sabotaging behavior, go on a diet, do something to get rid of it, right? And then you just do it again. You just loop and loop and loop and loop. It doesn't work. It's not going to work. Because again, that judgment inside of you is not wrong. All right? There are, especially, and I want to make another video about this, but I'm just going to touch on it here. This idea that, we want to see others in their light all the time. And then when we judge them, we are saying, they're not being in their light. They're not being who they're supposed to be. Well, could it be that is our judgment of what the light is? Could it be that we have a very narrow view of what is the light, of what is God, of what is truth, of what is necessary? And could it be that, again, we are falling into superstition that says things happen randomly, that things just come on my path for no reason and get in my way, that emotions, feelings, thoughts, behaviors of others, they're just there sometimes, and we should get rid of them, that there's nothing for us to learn, there's nothing for us to gain, there was no cause, this is not an effect of anything, this is just a shitty thing that we want to get rid of, right? This is what's getting us trapped, not your judgment of other people, not you not liking yourself enough, okay? And so, again, I really want to make this clear. We are saying in this work that to truly get to that place that you want to get to, where you are love and light, where you are different in the world from everyone who's different in the world, you cannot be superficially different. It's not about pretending to not feel how you feel. It's not about pretending to not be a judgmental person. It's not about forcing yourself to try to be this non-judgmental person. It's not about forcing yourself to try and see something that you don't. Because that is exactly what everyone else is doing. Everyone else is forcing themselves to try to be someone that they're not. That is what is causing all the pain. That is what's causing all the drama. That is what is causing all the suffering and all the weird things that we see people doing that we judge as being wrong and bad, right? It is that rejection of self that is at the root of it. So you rejecting yourself in a different way than other people are rejecting themselves is not different. All right? Doing the same thing that everyone else is doing differently is not doing something different. It's doing the same thing that everyone else is doing. To judge yourself is to create the root cause of that darkness you see in the world inside of yourself. Every single time you reject yourself, you are being them. And as tough as that might be to swallow, look at your life. Look at how it has unfolded. Have you ever been able to judge yourself out of being judgmental? Have you ever been able to stifle yourself out of being angry? Have you ever been able to criticize yourself enough out of being sad or out of being in a victim state? Have you ever achieved it? No. And again, you have to understand that that part of yourself is there for a reason. And it's a part of you that has been hurt. It's a part of you that has been wounded. It is a part of you that has rejected reality and therefore been rejected, didn't get to grow, didn't get to become the maturity, has seen that things went away, has decided they should not have gone that way, and now you're in pain. That's what's happening. So when you are judgmental, okay, to go into that judgment is not all of a sudden making the judgment part of yourself real. And now it's a part of your vibration. And so long as you can think about something else, it will no longer be a part of your vibration. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Just because you're not looking at your left hand doesn't mean it's no longer there. Just because you're looking at the right hand and you're like, doesn't mean the left hand is gone now, right? It's a part of you. It keeps coming up over and over and over again because it's there. Your judgment keeps coming up over and over and over again. Your anger keeps coming up over and over again. Your sadness keeps coming over because it's there. You haven't dealt with it, right? So by pretending it's not there, again, what you think you're doing is, I'm not going to add to the darkness of the world by acknowledging my judgment. I'm just going to judge myself quickly and then decide to love this person that I don't like and that I see something wrong with them, right? I'm going to convince myself that I think something different, or I'm going to see them in their light and that's good. But again, you're just going to judge the next person, and then you're going to beat yourself up, and then you're going to do the whole thing over again, because that judgmental part of you is there for a reason. It is there, number one, because it's a part of your gifting, and I've done this within myself, okay? We are here with discernment because what we have decided is love and light, I believe, again, is superstition. And there is a certain degree of navigation that we need to do in this life. There's a certain degree of specificity that we all have. And again, I'm going to explain this in another video. But part of that judgment could be your discernment. Part of that judgment could be, yeah, okay, I really just don't want to hang out with that person. And the more you tell yourself, no, I have to be friends with everybody, I have to love everyone, I have to hang out with everybody, right? There's an internal guidance system that is saying, no, that's not right for us. That's not the path. Those are not the people we're supposed to hang out with. I don't want to be in that group. And you're saying, well, no, I can't judge them. I have to be with them. And then the part of you that is discerning starts to throw a temper tantrum and makes you hate them as a way of trying to get you to not be with them, because you won't listen to your own intuition that just says, not the group. You don't have to hate them. If you were to love that discerning part of yourself that right now is coming out as judgment, maybe you won't judge them so hard because you won't need that judgment, that super loud message to not hang out with them. You'll be able to say, oh, okay, it's fine. I can love them without having to hang out with them. So this is what I'm saying. There's a reason. Don't fall into the superstition that if I'm not looking at it, it's not there. It's there. It keeps coming up because it's there. It doesn't go away when you stop looking at it. So that's the first thing. Don't fall into the superstition that that there is no purpose to things. Your emotions have a purpose. They're there for a reason. You hold a belief system that you need to question. And the only way you're going to get to the answer, the truth, is by being with yourself. And again, third thing, the only way to add to the darkness is to reject yourself, because that's what everybody else is doing. That is the root of the darkness we see. So if you're going to reject yourself, you're going to add to it. So judging yourself for judging, you add to it. You're not making yourself love and light. You're making yourself just like everybody else. Okay? Questions, comments, concerns, please leave those down below. Like, share, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. And join Patreon. And I'll see you in the next video. Okay, have a good week.